Now, you may have seen the horrible amount of human suffering that is coming out of India as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. If you have, it's absolutely incredibly heartbreaking. And let me give you the details on it. Over the last couple of weeks, there's been a massive surge in COVID cases in that country. They've now actually reported more than 20 million active infections, including nearly 3.5 million people who are actively being treated for COVID-19. That's a country of 1.4 billion people, but even that amount of people is stressing out the healthcare system to the point of collapse. In fact, as a result, the healthcare system there is their hospitals are full. There's not enough room for people. There are people that are dying in hallways of hospitals. There are not enough places to put the bodies. People that have died of COVID-19. They have no beds. They have very little supplies now, oxygen, and all that stuff. Now they're living basically in the nightmare scenario with COVID-19. The Biden administration has promised to ship some supplies, a few million vaccines. Oh, fantastic. Great. Um, Again, a country of 1.4 billion people, it's not really gonna help that much. What they really need, other than of course beds and hospital space and oxygen, things like that, is vaccines. They need more vaccines. And on Saturday, India had expanded their vaccine eligibility to people who are 18 or older. Now there's a problem. The problem they have is they don't have enough vaccines as a result, of course, of wealthier countries that are currently hoarding the vaccines. And not just that either, but the ability to make the vaccine is restricted as a result of patent laws. And so, as a result, there are clinics in several states in India that have closed due to a lack of supply. It's not that they don't have the medical personnel to be able to do that. It's not that there isn't a will for people to get vaccinated. It's that they just don't have enough. Now, in America, we still don't have enough people vaccinated. We've got about nearly 40% of the population. And the problem is that vaccinations have slowed down in this country as a result of vaccine hesitancy, not the fact that we don't have supply. Now we do have ample supply of the vaccine, enough to send some out to India as well. But the problem is, as I said before, is that they can't actually manufacture their own vaccine and have to rely on U.S. distributors. And so we do have the supply. We have the means to make more. But again, we are hoarding supply. We do have an extra. And again, the real problem here is that corporate patents for these vaccines are actually preventing other countries from using their ability to manufacture vaccines to meet their own needs. In fact, this comes from an article from HuffPost. Daniel Morans reported on Monday that 110 House Democrats have recently signed on to a letter led by Representative Jan Schakowsky calling on the president to support India and South Africa's proposed vaccine patent waiver at the World Trade Organization. So right now, Joe Biden is not in favor of sharing the vaccine patents. Bill Gates also not in favor of sharing the vaccine patents. Interesting. We should be sharing the vaccine patent because this pandemic is not going to end until everybody has access to the vaccine. Now, the problem with, unfortunately, the Democratic Party, which is in power right now, is that a lot of Democrats take money from pharmaceutical companies. These pharmaceutical companies don't want to share their patents, even for a temporary amount of time. And so you end up with these Democrats that are being paid by these companies to vote against this, to vote against sharing these vaccines. As Marins reports, the leading Democratic recipients of pharmaceutical industry cash in Congress were refusing to endorse calls for a temporary suspension of patents for coronavirus vaccines and therapeutics, an indication of Big Pharma's influence as it lobbies aggressively in Washington and elsewhere to maintain monopoly control over production. And I am going to share with you the Democrats that are getting paid the most by pharmaceutical companies that are against this. Citing the latest campaign finance data from the Center for Responsive Politics, Marins noted that none of the 9 House Democrats among Congress's top 25 recipients of donations from pharmaceutical industry PACs in the 2020 election have signed on to this letter. Democratic Representative Scott Peters of California, Ron Kind of Wisconsin, number 7 and 19 respectively in the top 25 list, have actually solicited support for another letter to Biden asking him to not waive intellectual property rules. In addition to Peters and Kind, other top House Democratic recipients of cash during the 2020 election cycle were Frank Pallone of New Jersey, Richard Neal of Massachusetts, Anna Eshoo of California, Robin Kelly of Illinois, Brad Schneider of Illinois, Kurt Schrader of Oregon, and Raul Ruiz of California. So they, of course, are standing in the way of us being able to release these patents so that these other countries can go and start manufacturing these vaccines for their populations. So what we have is greed, good old-fashioned pharmaceutical industry greed, which is allowing right now rich countries, wealthy countries, to hoard the vaccines while the developing world suffers. Now, aside from being, of course, morally abhorrent and just ghoulish in every sense of the word, it's also really stupid when you're trying to actually control a pandemic. Idiots. Viruses don't know borders, okay? If there ends up being a variant that develops in India as a result of them not getting vaccinated fast enough, that, well, what if it pops up? What if one variant pops up and gets through that vaccine? Sets us off back to square one, or in this case, square zero. But hey, you know what? Corporate executive at least gets another yacht. And now, not shockingly, of course, here you have Chris Coons. Chris Coons is another person who received a lot of money from pharmaceutical companies and is using this excuse to defend his donors. During a virtual event last week, Coons had invoked the January 6th Capitol insurrection to justify his opposition to suspending restrictive intellectual property protections, and had echoed pharmaceutical industry warnings the proposed waiver would harm the United States' global competitiveness. So wait, what is the Republican, insurrection attempt on January 6th have anything to do with intellectual property rights of these vaccines? I mean, as far as global competitiveness, either. And you know what hurts global competitiveness? A deadly pandemic. When your customers are dead. There's more. A spokesperson for Representative Robin Kelly of Illinois also provided a statement that mirrored what the pharmaceutical industry itself has been saying in opposition to the temporary waiver that would not alleviate the current shortage of vaccines. Well, giving them over temporary property rights would not really wouldn't help. Well, that's not exactly true. Experts like Tamir Amin, founder of the nonprofit Initiative for Medicines, Access, and Knowledge, told the New York Times on Monday, quote, "Many people are saying, won't they need the secret recipe? That's not necessarily the case. There are companies that feel that they can go it alone, that they can manufacture, provided that they don't have to look over their shoulder and feel like they're going to take someone else's intellectual property, which of course will open them up to lawsuits." And as The Intercept reported last week, there were factory owners around the globe, from Bangladesh to Canada, and they have all said that they stand ready to retrofit facilities and move forward with vaccine production if given the chance. In fact, Abdul Muqtadir, chair and managing director of Incepta, a pharmaceutical firm based in Bangladesh, has told reporters that his firm has the capacity to fill vials for 600 million to 800 million doses of vaccine per year. He has reportedly reached out to Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and Novavax, and yet, again, they want to hold on to their intellectual property rights. Other firms in South Korea and Pakistan have also reportedly expressed an interest in producing vaccines or vaccine components. So all they need is the ability, the waiver, to start producing vaccines. the waiver and the formula, and they can start producing hundreds of millions of vaccines and could save hundreds of millions of people's lives. So, unfortunately, they're not doing this. Unfortunately, in America, who holds a lot of these patents, well, we put greed over human lives. I mean, it's endemic in our healthcare system. Everybody should not be surprised by this. That we screw over people, regular people who need help affording medication. We got people in this country that can't afford insulin, and so they literally die because they can't afford it. They go to other countries, in some cases, to be able to afford insulin, and our healthcare system is based on horrible greed, and so is our pharmaceutical companies, and as a result, millions of people potentially die as a result of this greed. If Biden doesn't push the issue, and I'm not convinced that he will, yes, he has been pushed on other issues. He's no longer building the wall. In fact, all the money for Trump's border wall has been taken away from it. All construction has stopped. They're no longer suing for property to be able to build the wall on. That's good. He's increased the refugee cap to 65,000, so it's up from Donald Trump's levels. He can be moved slightly on some issues, but I think when it comes to direct clashes with the donors, well, that's where you get into trouble, because pharmaceutical companies are some of the biggest donors to both parties in this country. They spend some astronomical sums of money to continue to be able to do business the way that they want, and that is to make as much profit as possible, to maximize that profit at the expense of human lives. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.